Here. What we're going to do today is one of the things that, don't quote me on this because it could be an alternative fact, but I heard recently that during the 1960s, during the Vietnam War, we changed the title of social studies classes, or civics classes, to social studies. Partially because people were uncomfortable with the curriculum, people as in people in power, were uncomfortable with the curriculum for high school students that kind of gave them the tools that they needed to understand how to sort of dismantle the master's house. And so we changed it from civics, which I actually think is a super important thing for high schoolers to learn at a formative time, to social studies. What I have found as a professional organizer, like a totally accidental professional organizer, is that there are not schools for organizers. I swear, I've looked everywhere. I've tried to invent them. I've tried to start them. It's a whole thing. There are not schools for organizers. Even here at Harvard, in my very humble organizer opinion, there's one or two professors who actually are woke and get their shit. The last presentation was lovely. It did not resonate with me as a professional activist. I think it's a really important conceptual framework. But for practitioners, there are 2, 3, 4 more steps we have to go, and there's nowhere that's talking about these conceptual frameworks and these actual tools. So I'm going to very humbly try to outline some of these things and give you the tools that people who are trained professional organizers try to give each other all the time, here and there. So we are, as I said, going to give you templates and tools to build your own. I'm a crafty dork. I don't do sports ball, but I do crafts. So DIYmocracy is my little hat tip to all the sports analogies that most political professionals use all the time. We're going to give you the templates and tools to build your own DIYmocracy, so you don't wait for some other person or some other time. And then we're going to actually commit together to next steps. So a couple disclaimers. One is that I am speaking on behalf of Sarah Elamine, and I don't mean to talk about myself in the third person, but I'm speaking on behalf of myself and myself only, not Harvard Kennedy School, not President Obama or OFA, even though I worked for them for ages. I get to say way more fun things now that I don't. It's great. Yeah, you can tweet at me if you have questions, comments, and concerns. So we did welcome introductions. We're going to dive right into electoral campaigns and some of the conceptual framework that I think schools miss. This is resistance school, so we get to dig right in. We're then going to talk about issue advocacy campaigns. How many people here have worked on electoral campaigns before or volunteered before? So about half the room is raising their hand. How many people here have done issue advocacy before? Less. A third of the room is raising their hand. And if you're online, I'd love you to type if you've done issue advocacy or electoral advocacy and what type, and we'll get to you during the break as well. One of our big observations as professional activists is that very few people actually do both and toggle between. How many people have done both electoral and issue advocacy? Okay, decent representation, but it's probably a fifth of the room, I would say. And so we're going to talk about why it's important that we all do both. And then we're going to actually dig into persuasion and give you some real concrete tools and tactics you can use to charm your families at the Thanksgiving table and to charm strangers when you knock on their doors, when you go knock on doors for the 2018 elections and issue advocacy next week, because we're going to get you there. It's going to be great. Don't look so scared. And then we'll do closing and next steps. So everyone feeling good? Am I speaking too quickly? Okay, this is a first. Great. Really smart people here at Harvard. All right. So let's rock and roll.